Hello everyone and welcome back to round 7 of our F123 My Team Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend for the duel in the Formula 1 crown. We're here for the Monaco Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on yesterday's video where we went back to Imola, probably one of the craziest races actually we've had so far in this series, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Of course, we've done pretty well so far this campaign. Season 2 has certainly experienced a lot more highs than we have a lot more lows. But as we head back to the Monaco Grand Prix this weekend, of course, still in a huge development arm race with a lot of the other teams around us. We've got 2 more upgrades in the works. Both of them should be arriving on the car before Barcelona next weekend, but it does unfortunately mean Alfa Romeo have got the jump on us once more. There are McLaren and Williams continuing just to inch away wherever they can. Championship-wise, we're best of the rest at the moment. P7 overall in the table after a couple of fantastic races in the last 2 weekends. Max Verstappen still leading the way 2 points ahead of his teammate Sergio Perez. Those two are absolutely giving each other a run for their money at the moment. But yeah, our big focus is on the cars behind us, Ocon, Piastri, the Gaslys of this world. There seems like us four are consistently taking most of the points away outside of the big 6. But of course, if you're new around here, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel as well. Of course, trying to get closer and closer to 120,000 subscribers at the moment, so I cannot thank you guys enough for the continued support. But yeah, Monaco, the one they all want to win. Could it be this weekend? With the luck we've had so far this season, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but we would need a lot of luck on our side. To be done then this weekend here in the Principality, and no better place to get started than with free practice. I know I always come back with the same cliches every season, but so important that you get yourself in the groove around this place. At least earlier in the weekend, the better. Such a confidence-based circuit. That's scary. Not quite what I meant by getting into the groove. Then nudge the wall immediately on just the 3rd corner, but yeah, we're going to try and obviously get a lot of laps. A lot of times on the board. This is scruffy. This is definitely my reconnaissance lap. I think we're probably only going to be able to get the green score here. Unfortunately, you hit any bump around the Principality and immediately it just assumes that you're wrecking the tyres, and there we go. Green score just about in the end. That was incredibly close. Fuel run up next then. Now we can actually really try and go for it a little bit more there. Fuel saving around Monaco shouldn't be too difficult. There is a lot of lift and coast around this place. Corners like that up through Casino Square where you're not really on throttle or on the brake, where the game assumes you should be. So I just threw up a Mirabeau. Feel like I am slowly getting in the jive this weekend. A little bit wide through the hairpin, but sometimes that actually works quite nicely for you as it opens up the radius slightly, allows you to get good kick off the corner. But yeah, 4.5 tenths up though as we head towards the tunnel. Should be able to lift and coast quite a lot through the second half of the lap. At the final corner, 1.2 seconds up. Let's just lift that throttle off, and that is going to be a purple score. At the final corner then, to start our race simulation run. This one, I think, to be honest, theoretically, should be the easiest of them all, as long as I don't do lines like that too often. Yeah, I always feel like we've got good pace, good consistency. As long as I don't bin it, we should be pretty safe. I always love it when I come back to Monaco as well, because my watch is always adamant that I'm cycling or doing something around this event. You really just get the concentration, the heart rate up like no other place. And I know this is only a game, but the same fact still holds true there as running our way through the final few corners. Oh, I see there just how close we were to the barrier. But if you're not close to the barrier, you're not pushing hard enough around the Monaco Grand Prix circuit. At Anthony Noakes, a lot of oversteer there, but out of the final corner up towards the line, that is going to be yet another purple to finish off Friday's running then here in Monaco. Now we're going to the big one, qualifying Saturday. Diving straight in then to qualifying, and I'm really hoping this weekend we can put on a bit of a show for the team there. Obviously, last year we actually had a bit of a nightmare qualifying in the end. It was changeable conditions and I timed it completely wrong. So we ended up going out in Q1. I can see on the minimap I got a Red Bull all over my gearbox, but I'm on a lap, so I don't have to move out of the way there. It's just how hard we're pushing through the first couple of turns. Avoid the bump as best as possible, but yeah, got to wind our way around these streets and hope that that Red Bull doesn't try anything on anywhere. Tell you what, this first lap, if we can continue this sort of pace on throughout the rest of qualifying, I will walk away a very happy man out of the final corner. That one's been pretty well hooked up, if I do say so myself. Up towards the line then, what's the time going to be? An 11.6 puts us quicker than Sergio Perez there, and immediately up to 9th. Starting our first run then here in Q1 for the Monaco Grand Prix, and hopefully we can try and put on a bit of a show for the team this weekend. Always feel like I've got good pace around this venue. Obviously had a bit of a nightmare in qualifying last season. Of course, changeable conditions really did compromise us right towards the end of Q1. Timed it really badly and ended up going onto a circuit that was actually getting slower again, which is very, very rare. Whoa, for the Monaco Grand Prix. That was fully sent through Casino Square. Understeer trying to push me out towards the outside wall and using all of the circuit through Upper Mirabeau as well. Got to just gather it up. Don't start getting too ragged around this place. You've got to be so precise. And it is one of those venues that if you get one corner wrong, it really does string along. And suddenly you're a second off your delta just because you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Braking at the 100-meter board. Oh, attack that sausage girl maybe a bit too much that time round, but we got screwed over with a load of oversteer on the exit there. Don't even have to change down through to back anymore. The ground effect doing its job as we wind our way through the final couple of corners. Rattle up right next to the Armco there, second gear. As we head through the Rascats, don't do a Michael Schumacher. Out of Anthony Noakes will go. Get as close to that inside wall as you dare. And out of the final corner up towards the line. An 11.8. Only good enough for P14 early on. Well, 1 minute left then on the clock as everyone else trying to come towards the end of their final run. Just about to start our own. No idea who's behind me, but we've got to go for it then, as I'm sure we're going to see times improve. Actually, I think everyone else is starting their last lap as well. With the way Nick de Vries sent it in towards that first corner. But yeah, we need some sweat mode here, because I can't help but feel the AI are likely to find more time, as that was close. Grip levels definitely improving then as we come towards the end of Sector 2. They're purple actually through the middle sector. We've always gone well around that part of the lap. Feel like we've got very, very competitive top end speed as well this weekend, which will help us out through the tunnel. But 6/10 up then, we are in the drop zone temporarily. But I think we go up to 8th then by the end of Q1. 10th place then at the end of the first session. Hamilton fastest ahead of Verstappen, Sainz and Charles Leclerc there. Sergio Perez down in 8th place again. So we're waiting to see his full potential this weekend there. Logan Sargent again out in Q1. No other big surprises, I suppose. Hulkenberg just never has been able to get qualifying under wraps this season. But yeah, we've survived the first session. Will we make it into Q3? Right, we'll only get in the one run then here in Q2 on the fresh soft compound tyres. So we've got to try and make this count then. We're probably going to need to be down into the 10s if we want any chance of making it into Q3. But honestly, we will wait and see there, as we've got to try and get this one lap nailed. Slight lock up into turn 1, but it allowed me to rotate the rear of the car through. Let's just sweat this thing. The final corner then, it's felt pretty scrappy, but still has felt somewhat quick up towards the line. And 11.1. Is that enough to see us through? I think it is. Yes, we're 9th. I was not expecting that. Well, there we go then. Back-to-back Q3 appearances this season, and only 3.5 tenths away from Verstappen, who went fastest there, 1,000th of a second between him and Checo Perez at the end of Q2 there. But no major surprises out in the second qualifying. But I tell you what, if you get a lap absolutely smashed out the park, there was a real chance to upset the front runners. Okay, yeah, now all the big dogs have come out to play. George Russell currently setting the benchmark on a 1 minute 10.2, but got some slight engine wear signs on the power unit. Not that it's going to make much difference around Monaco, but one last run to make it count. I so enjoy doing qualifying laps around this venue, but can we go any higher than 10th?
you okay? That was a big one. Confirm you're okay, please.
I didn't even take the wing off. I just took the tyre space off the corner of the wall there. Took way too much curb on the way in. Was not happy with the way it was going anyway there. You could just see a tiny lock-up, so I had to recover it. And yep, just clean cut the tyre straight off the side of the car there. Like I said, didn't even lose the wing. But it is 10th place then on the grid, ready for the Monaco Grand Prix. That does hurt a little bit. Well, there we go. George Russell fastest then at the end of qualifying. 0.03 of a second clear of Carlos Sainz there. Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton make up row 2 there. But Red Bull, less than 2 tenths away, only find themselves on row 3. This is about to get quite crazy, I feel, here on the Monaco streets. Let's see what we can recover.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That's how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. The prestigious Circuit de Monaco, then, is not all that dissimilar today to the layout that made its debut almost a century ago. It's 2 miles and 19 corners through the streets of Monte Carlo. And although the average lap speed of around 93 miles per hour is the lowest of the season, the tiny margins for error make it the natural habitat of the safety car. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position. And a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, Perez, Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Norris, Mr. Monaco, Magnussen, Stroll, Ocon, Albon, Tsunoda, De Vries, Hulkenberg, Liam Lawson, Théo Pourchaire, Bottas, Sargent and Zhou Guanyu. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Okay, we've got that relief of having points on the board finally, so let's keep that form up and get another top 10 finish today, please.
Hang on, Mark, I've scored points in every race but one this weekend. This season. What's he talking about? We've done pretty well, I would argue, so far this campaign. But here we are then, trackside ready for the Monaco Grand Prix. Mediums to hard's going to be the way to go this weekend, but that being said, we were able to throw out a bit of an alternate strategy last season that worked beautifully for us, elevated us right the way up into the points there. Magnussen and Stroll behind me on hards, that's good to know. I think Piastri in front of me is also on a set of hards. Anti-stall is not going to be helpful. But I don't know how bad the component wear is. I always say Monaco just feel that little bit different in the world of Formula 1. There's always the sense of big opportunity around this place, and George Russell, I'm sure, sensing that as well. Took his first win of the year in Miami, is in a fierce battle with Ferrari, as Hamilton just really has not had the season so far to remember, but need every possible centimetre we can get on the lineup. Waiting on Zhou Guanyu at the rear of the field. Alfa Romeo, once again, seem to be really struggling. But 39 laps ahead of us then around the Principality. Want to try and get a good start here as we head down in towards turn 1. 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go as Lando Norris actually responding very well there. Sergio Perez, I can see on the inside. No, that was Russell going nowhere down in turn 1, so a huge opportunity for us going around the outside there at the first corner. And look at that, Gasly has already snuck by past Checo Perez. I'm up to 8th place then off the start of this Grand Prix there. And Lewis Hamilton, as soon as I talk badly about him, straight up into P2 then. Carlos Sainz leading the way though as we head, down the hill on lap 1. And I've sent it on Checo Perez because I was worried I was going to get damage running into the back of the Red Bull car there. Can we try and sneak around the outside of Pierre Gasly as well? Oh, there's contact. Perez trying to muscle me out into a wall there, so clearly not happy with the overtake I'd put on the Mexican. But 3 places gained then off the start. Mark seemingly not really caring about that, but yeah, one of my better starts then inside F123, especially up against a very, very competitive front trio of cars. Oscar Piastri down into P9 there after qualifying best of the rest on Saturday, and Lando Norris, wonder if he's down in 10th or whether he lost out and is outside of the points, but got to get into a rhythm early on there as we nudge the wall as we head in through the final sector. Don't really want to lose sight of Pierre Gasly, of course, Alpine, some of our big championship rivals this year, but Carlos Sainz leads the way, but Mercedes now, both cars on the podium. Charles Leclerc, a bit of a nightmare, down into 5th for the homeboy. Right, okay, so don't use as much battery then, apparently, is the message this weekend. Shouldn't be too big of an issue. Don't really use it in many places anyway around the lap. Might just have to use it like into the tunnel and back down towards turn 1 there, just to try and keep other cars at bay. But yeah, just settling in early on here as Hamilton, new fast lap of the day. Maybe what I said about the Merc driver has not sat well with him. I mean, yeah, unless you're new to the Monaco Grand Prix, I'm sure everyone kind of expecting just the inevitable of settling down and getting into a rhythm early on this afternoon. Does look like the top 7, 8, 9 of us are spreading out rather nicely. Lando Norris still in hot pursuit of Oscar Piastri, so it looks like the top 10 from qualifying are still the top 10 early on. I think Albon has managed to get between the Haas cars a little bit further back, but yeah, we're just kind of, you know, doing our own thing, chilling at the moment, trying to keep it clean. Can't help but feel this track doesn't quite suit our car as much as I would have hoped. That Alpine is looking very, very racy, but he has now lost the DRS to Charles Leclerc. I remember it was always Ayrton Senna who used to talk about tunnel vision when driving around Monaco, and honestly, the last few laps have kind of felt like that, just staring at the back of Pierre Gasly's car. That Alpine, like I said, doing very, very well around this circuit. Still, we've got Sergio Perez in hot pursuit of myself. Yeah, not too sure what he's going to be able to do this afternoon. Obviously, got the hard work done on Saturday ahead of his big rival Max Verstappen. Out-qualified his Dutch teammate, and then just was unlucky with the fact Russell decided he didn't want to go anywhere off the start, as that was a bit scary. So yeah, Perez still stuck staring at the back of the 2-2 Motorsport car, but yeah, we're doing all right early on still. You know, I hardly think this is going to be the most action-packed race in the world, but it will really be when strategy comes into play. We can probably pit from like lap 15 onwards, but of course it's trying to make sure we come out in clear air, which it already looks like the rear of the field. Everyone actually spreading out quite a lot. I wonder if, because as the cars get quicker and quicker and the downforce gets obviously better and better, whether there's more aero wash from the car in front of you, which is why cars are having to spread out more. Are the Monaco Grand Prix going to get worse and worse in this game? I hope not. Well, things are starting to get a little bit scrappy as we get towards the start of lap 13, 1/3 distance. Yeah, Gasly just starting to pull away a little bit. Because have we cooked the tyres yet? Tyres are looking incredibly warm, so just got to be careful with those rears. You can see just how quickly it costs you a lot of time. Oh, big snap of oversteer there as we try and put the power down at Casino Square, and I think, to be honest, I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to pit the end of this lap. Not that these tyres are completely dead yet, but I just cannot quite seem to gather them back into the window that I need. I think Gasly probably a little bit too quick for us this weekend, but of course if I can get ahead of him, then there's still every opportunity. Of course, once I'm ahead, he'll struggle to get back past me. Charles Leclerc as well, not far in front of him. But yeah, really just cannot quite get these tyres back in the window that I need. No idea where I'm going to re-emerge in this Grand Prix. I'm hoping, in many ways, it's kind of a long way off the rear of the field, but I can't help but think I'm going to come back up behind the likes of Zhou Guanyu and Valtteri Bottas, Alfa Romeo. Absolute disaster of a Monaco Grand Prix weekend for them, but we do run quite a big risk here. Of course, if we get a red flag or something like that, it's basically game over in the Monaco Grand Prix, and of course that is a very real possibility now inside F123, is making sure get the car in on the right spot. Onto that set of hard tyres will go, hopefully clean, tidy. Stop 2.4 seconds, perfect in that regard, and well, actually we've done alright there. So we head back out of the pit lane then, nice and easy. Make sure we stay ahead of Nico Hulkenberg, which we have done. And we're back up in P17 then, so only really got 4 cars that we might have to navigate. That's alright. And let's just try and ease these tyres in. It wouldn't be Monaco without trying to get around a couple of cars at some point now, would it? As you can see how much grip we've got over Yuki Tsunoda at the final corner. And look how early we're able to get on the throttle there around the outside of the Alpha Tauri. I'm probably going to get quite a squeeze down at turn 1. Oh, that was scary, but Tsunoda, fair play to him, did give me the room around the outside of the Alpha Tauri car there. Compromised his own line quite a lot, but we're through. Next up, Liam Lawson. I mean, it probably won't take us long to get to the back of the Williams car, so maybe we can go for it down through the tunnel and we'll stay on board. As you can see how much extra grip we've got there, how quickly we rock up to the back of these cars. And well, yeah, I mean, now we're already getting slowed down a little bit. We'll give him a little bit of a love push there, just, you know, in support of how well Liam Lawson's doing at the moment. As he's going to chop my nose off. Oh, we'll get to the inside though. It was a little bit harum-scarum, but down the inside we'll go. And we're up another one. And it really, once again, hasn't taken us long before we're all over the back of the next couple of cars. Esteban Ocon. I've spent all morning looking at the back of an Alpine, and now I'm going to spend, hopefully, very little time looking at the back of another one. Let's try and get on the battery. I mean, that Alpine, yep, still very, very quick down the straights, but to the inside we'll go. And we should be able to slip by there, another aggressive manoeuvre, but you can't really go too wide into the hairpin. And I think Ocon knew what the score was going to be there. Nick de Vries, though, to round our way in towards the final few corners. These were the 4 cars that I really thought I'd have to try and actually navigate, but yeah, those Haas cars on hard tyres, so they're obviously going to be out a little bit longer this afternoon. But get on the battery, open up the DRS there, and slingshot already alongside that McLaren car. Will he give me the same sort of room that Tsunoda did? Oh, he tries it, but we kept the car there. And Nick de Vries will end up submitting. First cars into the pit lane. Albon and Lando Norris then peeling in. So, yeah, we're still setting good competitive lap times. We're a long, long way ahead of them. More cars into the pit lane then. I think that might be George Russell and Charles Leclerc then right from the front of the field. Unfortunately, I'm not quite going to be close enough to Magnussen to do anything, but we have got the undercut. Look at that, Verstappen re-emerging out of the pit lane there, and that is Lewis Hamilton, sorry, in the Mercedes. So we've undercut a lot more than I was ever expecting to there. Verstappen and Leclerc have both been jumped. I need to try and get around Kevin Magnussen as well. ASAP there as well, losing one hand off the steering wheel momentarily. Magnussen's going to go defensive. No, he's not. He's going to try and put me in a wall. It's Kevin Magnussen there. I mean, will we expect any less from the Dane? I don't know. This is going to get messy. Oh, come on. Got to try and give each other some room. And Verstappen, I'm sure, sensing an opportunity here as well. Magnussen, his hard tyres, probably screaming soon that he wants to peel into the pit lane, but surely we're going to be able to get a run on the Haas. I mean, either way, I'm going to be dive-bombing him down at the hairpin. Down the inside we'll go. Oh, we hopped over the curb. I've got to give it back. It's not good for us. Come on, Kevin. What's he doing? Kevin? Oh, Kevin's not trying to get back past me. I think he's lost the place of... I think he was trying to... Obviously, the AI automates some overtakes, and I think he was trying to let Max Verstappen pass at the same time, so... Sykes back to the lead, then, of the Grand Prix. Hamilton still hanging on to P2 at the moment, but... Yeah, Magnussen peels into the pit lane then. And we're going to be ahead of Sergio Perez as well, so George Russell... I mean, have we not had that whole disaster with Magnussen? We might have been ahead of George Russell in this race. That hurts. Actually, yeah, Hamilton. I've only just realised this Hamilton now into the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix. So really, yeah, I said Hamilton's been struggling this season. He's very much taken it personally, and now at the front of the field, Carlos Sainz has been undercut in this Grand Prix, and now Hamilton, I'm sure, will just be trying to hang on to it towards the end. I've got no idea what we're going to be able to do against Verstappen and Leclerc, but, I mean, a third P4 in a row could be possible. Ow. Oh, apparently not. Verstappen, they're going to ram into the back of me down at the hairpin, and there we go. The Dutchman's picked up front wing damage, so Verstappen, a bit of a disaster there. Pitting twice in the space of 3 laps. I mean, I didn't feel like I broke particularly early. But yeah, the Dutchman just crashed straight into the back of me. We're riding on board there with Max Verstappen as we make our way in towards the final couple of corners. You can see eyes up a move, but then floors the throttle into the back of me there. The Dutchman losing half his wing. You saw that flying off around the outside of the Rascas. But yeah, Red Bull then, not what they would have wanted this afternoon. Another front wing going on to that Red Bull car, and he's going to be down and out of the points with a lot of work to do before the end. What though, if I do come P4 here, there is no doubt about it, I am playing Nico Hulkenberg Simulator inside Season 2 of this series. 3 fourth places in a row would be absolutely ridiculous here, as I mean Russell and Sainz have absolutely romped off. I think they're in hot pursuit of Lewis, who I'm pretty certain is on a set of hards, but by keeping Leclerc at bay, and Gasly is not quite keeping up. Ow! No! Charles Leclerc! He's done the same thing as Max Verstappen did, and surely we're going to see the Monegasque driver into the pits. Yes, we are. So 2 cars then in this Grand Prix. I mean, we're just trying to control our own pace at the moment, and I'm worried even still that I'm braking quite late down at La Rascasse, but apparently not letting up for the AI. Now we've got Pierre Gasly and Oscar Piastri right behind me. Both of them, I'm sure, will quite happily take, I think, what would be their best race results of the season. But, yeah, this is getting ridiculous. Ow! I feel like every time I start one of these little commentary segments, it's just me saying ow now, and that's because another car has rammed into the back of me. Pierre Gasly now making the same mistake as many have before him with 10 laps to go. And I mean, yeah, let me know down in the comments, am I braking that early there, or is it just the AI being far too aggressive? I don't feel like I am. I mean, whenever they hit me, I pretty much get thrown almost into the outside wall there. I'm getting very, very worried that one of them is going to do it, and then I pick up front wing damage as well. But, I mean, it's up to the car behind to avoid the incident, as Oscar Piastri, medium compound tyres for the Aston Martin, he is definitely sniffing around. That time around I have just understeered, I think, and Oscar Piastri trying to have a look up the inside there, can't make anything of it, and yeah, that time I definitely did just understeer. 22 seconds now behind George Russell. I mean, there's no doubt about it, we are absolutely just trying to control the pace over the cars behind me, as now Perez has found a way around Oscar late on. Quite sure how we keep mileage on a turbocharger to a minimum around Monaco, but apparently I've just not got to allow it to spool anymore, so short shift and keep the RPMs down. Maybe? I don't know. But anyway, 7 laps to go then here from the Principality.
24.7 seconds.
I mean, we're actually losing less time against George Russell now, as I think Hamilton just trying to dictate the pace of the front 3 as well. But yeah, still and ahhing. Are we going to see Perez try something somewhere late on in the day? Make sure I'll keep 2 hands on the steering wheel. Well, 5 laps to go then. The only other concern I've got late on here is actually the fuel. Getting very, very close to our total fuel usage. Got 0.25 laps extra, but that has been coming down all afternoon. I've been trying to monitor it closely wherever possible, but yeah, just going to have to use more battery late on, lift and coast wherever we can. But still managing to keep Perez at bay. Oh, yellow's out. Someone's got issues down in the final sector. Are we seeing a late race mechanical failure? Not sure. I think it's just all the blue flags there as Hamilton will round the final corner to start the last lap here in Monaco, and he's actually been given a bit of breathing room by virtue of that huge gaggle of cars. I think they're all stuck in an AlphaTauri train at the moment. But for us, though, to round the final couple of corners, ready to start the last lap. Oh, Perez! Perez has ran into the back of me. Are we going to see the Mexican have to pit with 1 to go? Yes, he is. And Sergio Perez looked dead set to take some big points out of his teammate Max Verstappen in the championship, but he's done exactly what Leclerc, Verstappen, and Pierre Gasly have done this afternoon. Again, am I braking too early into there? I don't feel like I am, and now we're going to be under pressure from Oscar Piastri, who's waited all afternoon for an opportunity, but he's kept it clean and tidy. He hasn't done anything stupid, and he might be able to walk away with a big haul of points here. But Lewis Hamilton, he's had such a rough start to this final season campaign there. Perez is going to be out in pretty much last place this afternoon, apart from that back marker gaggle. But Hamilton rounding through La Rascasse and Anthony Nogues today. It has been a tough old start to the year, but through the final corner, Hamilton is going to be back on top here at Monaco once again there. A fantastic display by the Mercedes man, and proven that that car can fight for wins. Carlos Sainz will come through for P2, and George Russell will make it, I'm pretty certain, the first Mercedes double podium of the season there. But rounding our way through the final couple of corners, going to have to go defensive. Whoa, from Oscar Piastri. That's brave by the Australian there. Around the outside, is Lando Norris going to be able to get involved through the final corner? We are just about going to survive, and it's our third P4 in a row, picking up good consistent points.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
It's the one that everyone wants to win, and they've only gone and done it. What a fantastic result here at Monaco. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. See how the driver standings have changed. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. It was a tough race for our championship leaders, who lose ground at the top of the table. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today, as they make their way up the standings. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One, so be sure to join us for the next one.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Monaco Grand Prix, and it's Lewis Hamilton that takes home his first dub of the year there. Carlos Sainz agonisingly close to his first win of the campaign, ahead of George Russell and myself. Oscar Piastri, Lando, Norris, Stroll, Albon, Ocon and Magnussen. A very, very obscure rest of the top 10 there. But I mean, yeah, Verstappen, Leclerc, Gasly and Sergio Perez all crashing into the back of myself really did carry us to a much better result, and actually helped a lot of those other drivers out as well this afternoon. Championship-wise, it does mean the gap at the top still 2 points between our big two there, but Charles Leclerc now dropping back behind Lewis Hamilton after a nightmare weekend. Carlos Sainz, up into P3 just by being brutally consistent so far has been the key for the Spaniard there. Any other big movers further down? I mean, a lot of drivers getting their first points or first big points of the year on the board. I think Magnussen there adds to his tally, and that means constructors-wise, Red Bull still out in front. Mercedes now jump Ferrari, 4 points between them, and 6 points between us and Alpine, and a further 4 back to Aston Martin there. Still only AlphaTauri yet to score, but McLaren, Haas, and Williams now all tied on 12 points apiece. But there we go. That's going to do us then here for the Monaco Grand Prix. Thank you all so much for watching as always. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we will be back when Formula One returns ready for the Spanish Grand Prix. The new Barcelona, I still enjoy racing around it.